mean, Caitlin to the ground, and ooh, that's a...
Oh, hell no. I know just who to call. I know just who to call for your ass.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a wild thug on the loose in Indiana. There's a thug that plays for the Phoenix Mercury, a goon named Alyssa Thomas. She goes by the name Alyssa Thomas. You need to go arrest this thug. She tried to murder a lady named Caitlin Clark on the basketball court. She tried to punch her.
What began as another controversial on-court incident quickly grew into a much larger story after the physical play involving Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark sparked widespread debate. Following the game, claims surfaced online that an official police report had become part of the controversy, leading fans to demand clarification about what had actually happened. The situation fueled intense speculation, with many questioning whether key moments had been missed by officials and whether the league had responded appropriately. As the discussion continued to spread, the incident became one of the biggest talking points of the season, raising broader questions about officiating, player safety, and how future controversies could shape the WNBA.
That is it. Tonight is where I draw the line. WNBA, if you do not review what happened to Caitlin Clark, I am going to non-stop talk about this until the end of my days. The Indiana Fever go down in their rematch against the Phoenix Mercury. I don't even care about that because much bigger things are at play. It was expected to be a big game. After the melee that ensued a couple of days ago between the two teams, multiple texts were called, ejections. It was just really high tense. You could cut it with a knife. Ergo, I expected this game to be called very tight whistle. Any player hits the floor, watch like a hawk. And in my lives, I do sometimes talk about there are two players in the league that I don't particularly care for, but I never want to say who they are because I want to be able to call their game fairly and acknowledge how good they are on the court, and I never will stop.
By the time the game came to an end, the final score had become almost an afterthought. Instead of analyzing offensive strategies, defensive adjustments, or the night's biggest plays, the conversation shifted almost entirely to the controversial moments that unfolded during the matchup. Fans, analysts, and media outlets focused far more on the disputed incidents than on the basketball itself, making the post-game discussion one of the most debated of the season.
About it, Alyssa Thomas driving her fist into Caitlin Clark's neck. The ball is out of the play at this point in time. All right. So I don't care who it is, at the minimum, it's a flagrant 2. I think it warrants a suspension, especially because of, when you do factor in the context and the history, because let's be real about it. This clip.
Instead, nearly all the attention shifted to a single play involving Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas. Within minutes, clips of the sequence spread across social media, fueling intense debate among fans, analysts, and commentators. Rather than discussing the outcome of the game, the basketball world focused on questions surrounding the physical nature of the play, the officiating decisions, and whether the league needs to do more to address concerns about player safety in high-profile matchups.
Gets kneed in the groin, punched in the throat. Alyssa Thomas puts all of her body weight on her to stand up after falling to the ground, punching her and kneeing her in the groin. No foul gets called, they play on. Caitlin Clark shoots a 3. A player on the Phoenix Mercury gets into her landing space. Caitlin Clark comes down on her foot, no flagrant called. Caitlin Clark comes up, holding...
The reaction to the incident was immediate and widespread. Many fans called for the league to review the play, while others argued that the controversy reflected broader concerns about consistency in officiating and player safety. As the debate grew, attention shifted away from the game's outcome and toward the officials' handling of the moment. For many supporters, the sequence was not viewed as a one-time occurrence but as another example in a series of controversial plays involving Caitlin Clark throughout her career. During the physical matchup between the Fever and the Mercury, what initially appeared to be a routine basketball collision quickly became the center of discussion after slow-motion replays spread across social media. Fans closely analyzed the footage from multiple angles, searching for details they believed were missed during live action. The clip rapidly gained traction online, prompting reactions from analysts, former players, and media personalities, each offering different interpretations and further fueling one of the season's most heavily debated conversations.
After such a dirty play in this game, Alyssa Thomas needs to be checked. And I am absolutely not the only person that feels this way. I went on social media after the game, and it is like hellfire calling for the WNBA to review this play. Caitlin Clark goes down. Alyssa Thomas goes down, knees her in the groin on the way down, a known area of injury for Caitlin Clark. Okay, maybe that wasn't completely intentional. Didn't look great to me personally, but here's where it gets really wild. Alyssa Thomas has a fist on Caitlin Clark's arm. She has two fists. She slides it down, pins Caitlin down by the throat, finally gets up, and she steps over her. That step over told the entire thing. It was dirty. It was intentional. Absolutely should not go undiscussed. WNBA.
This is it. Oh, yes. This is it right here. I got you a like. Get 200 likes up. This is the footage. This is the video. This video has not been released at all. This is what happened right before Caitlin Clark went out of the game.
Up the tech tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping. So, like, if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So, if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for.
As is often the case in today's sports world, the discussion quickly grew beyond the game itself. What could have remained an ordinary post-game debate instead became one of the biggest stories in women's basketball, driven by countless social media posts, video clips, and fan reactions. The controversy centered less on the physical contact, which is a normal part of professional basketball, and more on the fact that no foul was called on a play many viewers believed deserved closer scrutiny. That decision became the focal point of the conversation. While most fans recognize that officials can miss calls in the fast pace of a live game, the incident reignited an ongoing debate about officiating involving Caitlin Clark. Some supporters argue that she has repeatedly been on the receiving end of physical plays that go unpenalized, pointing to several moments from her professional career as examples. Others maintain that the level of contact she faces is consistent with the intensity of the WNBA and reflects the challenges many star players have encountered throughout basketball history. The differing viewpoints have ensured that the conversation extends far beyond a single game or a single play.
These are terrible, but the worst part of all of this, Caitlin Clark got kneed in the groin, throat punched, landing space no call, and Stephanie White sat there on the sidelines with her arms crossed, tweaking, sniffing, twitching away. This is a coach that said, I ride with Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White, you ride with Alyssa Thomas. You ride with DeWanna Bonner. You don't ride with the CC22. You wish you did. You want people to think that you do, but you
just needs more consistent help. But as for the refs, I want smoke with all the WNBA refs, bro. Like, they need to be hit with a RICO. They need to be investigated. How are they allowed to control the game the way that they do? They calling fouls that aren't fouls. Not calling fouls when they should be calling fouls. Making up fouls. Like, how are they allowed to do this and just control the outcome of the game? They got to be on FanDuel, like, making money off this shit or something, because
at this point, opinions on the issue have become deeply divided, with each side firmly convinced of its perspective. As a result, every controversial call involving Caitlin Clark quickly becomes part of a much broader conversation. Supporters often view disputed plays and missed whistles as further evidence of inconsistent officiating, while others believe the physical nature of those moments reflects the normal intensity of professional basketball. Because of these opposing viewpoints, each new incident adds another chapter to an ongoing debate that has been building throughout the season. The discussion gained even more momentum after post-game comments from members of the Indiana Fever brought additional attention to the officiating. Questions about the disputed sequence surfaced almost immediately during media interviews, and concerns over the officials' decisions became a prominent topic. When coaches publicly express frustration with officiating, it often reinforces the concerns already being voiced by fans. What begins as an online debate can quickly evolve into a league-wide conversation involving players, coaches, analysts, journalists, and supporters, extending well beyond the events of a single game.
What up? All right, where do we start? Well, I know where we start. I'm pissed off tonight. A little pissed off starting this one off because this is, what happened tonight in the Fever's loss to the Mercury was egregious. The WNBA needs to do something about it. Alyssa Thomas, the play on Caitlin Clark was dirty. This is now like few things. The play itself in question, just remove anybody involved. Remove the names of those involved, whether it was Caitlin Clark or anybody else. That's a dirty play. Whether it was Alyssa Thomas or anybody else.
Goon Alyssa Thomas arrested alongside her partner, Dewana Bonner. Matter of fact, just arrest the entire Phoenix Mercury damn roster. Emergency, get there, and this won't be long. The police are on the way. Alyssa Thomas, your ass y'all can't outrun the police. Y'all can't run from the police. The police coming to get your ass. I done called them on you. Talk about this thuggery, a goon attack, hoodlum activity, straight up hoodlum. I've lost my mind activity. Alyssa Thomas flat out targeted Caitlin Clark. The Phoenix Mercury targeted Caitlin Clark throughout this.
What was expected to be a routine regular season matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury quickly turned into one of the most talked about games of the WNBA season. A series of controversial moments during the contest sparked widespread debate among fans, media members, and analysts, shifting the focus from the final score to questions about officiating, player safety, and the league's handling of high-profile incidents. What began as an ordinary game ultimately became another major chapter in an ongoing conversation that has dominated headlines throughout the season.